Hey, what's up? I'm Lucas, and today we have a look at the Fotodiox Vizelex ND Throttle adapter. I actually have this adapter for quite some time now, over a year, and I never did a review in it. I don't know really why I didn't, but now it will follow. So this is the Vizelex ND Throttle adapter from EF lenses to the next camera, so the E-mount from Sony. What this does actually is basically an ND fader adapter inside an adapter, which is very convenient to use. First thing you might notice is that there are no electronical connections inside this adapter. I think by now there's a new version that also has the electronical connections inside and also the ND throttling mechanism. However, this is way more expensive and I only have the dump one. So what can I say about this adapter? Mechanically, it's really good. So basically, the ring here where you set the ND throttling is really smooth, and lenses also fit really nice and snug onto this adapter, so there's no big wobble around this. Also, it fits rather well with the camera, so there's also no big wobbling. So this is very cool. One obvious downside of this adapter is that you have always an ND enabled. So basically, even in the minimum setting, you always have some decreasing in the light. If you're an A7S user, this might not be much of an issue for you, but this is still something to keep in mind. Generally, I would not use this adapter in low light situations. However, if you switch often from the outside to the inside during the day, this should not be too much of an issue to have a little bit decreased light input. After using this adapter for quite some time, I cannot tell you how convenient it is to have the ND fader inside your adapter, because all the switching stuff that is going on can really on your nerves is the thing of the past. For example, if you have lenses with different diameters, you either would have to have different ND faders for every lens, or you have step up and step down rings, which is a mess in itself. Then you have to switch the ND fader when you switch lenses. All the screwing up, screwing down, and then they are stuck and whatever there is. I mean, there are these tools to grab filters better and get them off, and I bought them and they are total crap. So having the ND inside your adapter is a really convenient thing. So the most stuff I read about these adapters on the internet is quite bad. I think there was a first version of this adapter which were quite horrific. However, this is the second version, so it's not as bad. And I actually, during using it, I never had any issues that came to my eye where I said, oh, this is a bit soft and this could be a bit better. However, it's good to have a clear view on this. So let's see what to expect when using this ND fader in regards of tinting the image, sharpness, and vignetting. This is also an issue common with ND faders, and yeah, let's have a look. What we can see right away is a yellowish tint crawling through the image. We'll see a bit later how this affects normal scenery. When we look closer, we can see that while the image looks worse with the ND, it's not really the sharpness itself, but some sort of reddish fringing around the edges in the dark areas, which makes it appear a bit less sharp. Could be an indicator for IR pollution. It's not too bad, but surely not great. What's good though is that when we step down the ND much further, the image doesn't suffer anymore and stays the same in regards of sharpness and tint. This is shot on the 50mm lens, so let's have a look at the more problematic telephoto range. Here we are on 200mm and the ND performs noticeably worse than the naked lens. Still, it's hard to call the image ruined, but the quality takes a serious hit. Personally, I usually don't shoot anything over 80mm, but if you do, you should really keep this in mind. Now we also have a better view on the tint. It's interesting that it turns yellowish, as most NDs tend to make the image more blue, which could be a second indicator for IR pollution. The tint is not image destroying and could possibly get rid of with a compensating white balance within the camera or some post-treatment, but it's there and we have to work around it. This is usually only a real issue if we make scenes shot with and without ND in the same scenery. The filter has hard stops for both ends, so we should expect that the manufacturer set them so that we have a completely usable range. Only that this is not the case, because we can still overscrew the filter, blackening out the image completely, as we know from other ND faders. As always, if we screw too far, we get a really heavy vignette that renders our image unusable. The range I found usable without introducing the vignette was around 5 stops down, so with the minimal setting combined we get a usable range of around 1 up to 6 stops. This is 2 stops less than the manufacturer claims, but still a very good and usable range. Of course we have to keep in mind that while tints and decreased sharpness are obviously not desirable, the Vizelex doesn't stop us from taking nice looking images. So while it's surely not awesome, I think it's usable, so it's not too bad, especially compared to some other cheaper ND faders. So if you don't have like the last state-of-the-art ND fader, this might not even be worse in comparison, and can be work out quite good in real life situations. You know, I mean, if your job is to film ISO charts, it's maybe not the best investment, but if you only use it for normal tasks, it may be totally okay to use it, even if it's not the best image you might get. Yeah, I think there's all that is to say. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I see you next time, and till then, bye.